It's time.
How long do you think the Ayatollah will be in power after what we've seen play out on the ground there? When is the U.S. going to get involved now that reports of protesters being killed on the ground?
I wish he could just say, like, 10. And she says, 10 what? And he says 9. You know, like, I wish he would just say that.
So Iran's in big trouble.
Yeah.
It looks to me that the people are taking over certain cities that nobody thought were really possible just a few weeks ago. We're watching the situation very carefully. I've made the statement very strongly that if they start killing people like they have in the past, we will get involved. We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts. And that doesn't mean boots on the ground, but it means hitting them very, very hard where it hurts. So we don't want that to happen. There have been cases like this where President Obama totally backed down. But this is something pretty incredible that's happening in Iran.
Was Obama a femboy?
It's an amazing thing to watch. They've done a bad job. They've treated their people very badly, and now they're being paid back. So let's see what happens. We're watching it. We're watching it very closely.
How long do you think the Ayatollah will be in power after what we've seen play out
He's
on
wearing
the ground?
Yeah, he's wearing a pin of himself. That's right. Iran threatens death penalty for anyone taking part in protests. Oh, wow. For the college students, this is what real anti-fascism looks like. One of the most consequential protests in a generation. Unarmed Iranian people are risking everything to fight the secret police and rid themselves of 45 years of Islamo-fascist ayatollahs and their sick reign of terror. This is one we saw yesterday. Poly Market? Yeah, I'll pull it up. Can we get the Minnesota flag back now? That's a great question. Yeah, that would be really fucking funny. And anyway, nicely said. Yeah, this is what's so insane about this is that this is what real protests look like. This is what, real fucking fascism looks like. Not this other bullshit. So I think he's speaking in Farsi, right? Yeah, he is. But Crown Prince releases the message on the importance of diaspora Iranians to support the compatriots back home by shining as much light as possible on their struggle. I mean, I do what I can, right? As I said, I've got, a number of friends that are Iranian and so Persian. And so I want to make sure that I talk about this too. And also, it's like I don't really see a lot of other creators really talking about the protests at all, which is kind of weird. I mean, you would expect to see tons of people going on and talking about this, but for whatever reason, it's like, well, Fox News, respectably, is actually talking about this. That's good. And CNN has made 1 or 2 videos about it, but overall, be careful. Some posts contain blood, but not this. Okay, let me go back. I'll pull this one up right now. A Tehran doctor told Time that at least 217 protesters have been recorded dead across 6 hospitals in the city, mostly killed by live ammunition as Islamic security forces opened fire on anti-regime protesters. There it is. They're literally out there shooting people with AK-47s. Maybe that's a shotgun. I don't know. But either way, that's what they're doing. Yes, this is what it really looks like whenever you're being, I guess, like, what is it, oppressed, right? This is what real oppression looks like.
Flames filling the streets of Tehran as
Look at
protests
this.
intensify across
This is
Iran.
insane.
Protesters now burning cars and government buildings in the capital city while the regime looks to clamp down.
Yeah, the Ayatollah addressing the protest this morning, hours after he cut off internet access. He says he's refusing to back down, accusing President Trump of sabotaging him.
Oh, right. It's somebody else's fault.
President Trump, focus on your own country.
Former Navy captain and Pentagon official Brent Sadler joins
us
now.
We have been.
And thank you so much for doing just that. The Ayatollah has shut down the internet there. He's calling these protesters terrorists, and apparently he has this exit strategy if these protests continue to Russia.
I mean, here's the thing, right? I mean, to the extent that you're the supreme leader of the country and you have a publicly understood exit strategy, it's over. You're done. You're done. Just leave. Just leave. You know you're done. You know you're cooked. Absolutely.
There have been rounds of protests to take place in Iran before that haven't amounted to anything. But do you view what's happening now as different and something that could actually lead to change?
Yes, the longer this
Assad
has been
escaped to
going
Russia
on,
also? Yeah, he
and
did.
the more widespread. I mean, every corner of the country now has had major and sustained protests in every major city across the country.
Yep.
For the longest time, the
I
one
think
that was
there's like 31 or something different provinces in Iran, and every single one of them is an open revolt and open protest.
quiet was up to the northwest. That also has protests rolling through, and several cities apparently have even been taken over by protesters as the Iranian authorities have vacated out of the area. So those are significant events, but still the regime has a knack of snapping back and certainly using a lot of violence in order to regain its control. So
Yeah.
the longer this goes, the more likely this regime is about to reach a breaking point. So we're not that far into this. When the Shah fell from power, it was after about a year of this type of activity.
I don't know about that, man. I think that this can't last. This can't go on for more than like a couple of weeks. I mean, they're literally burning down all the buildings of the government. They're going to run out of buildings. I mean, let's just be logistical here. If you're burning down like 5 buildings a day, there's probably only a handful of buildings. It was way different with the Shah. Yeah, I don't know a lot about it, but yeah.
The president said with Sean last night about what he thinks he wants to see when it comes to Iran. Listen.
You believe that Iran, you think the country is on the verge of collapsing?
Well, it could be. I mean, what they've done is in the past, they've started shooting the hell out of people.
And that's what they're doing now.
All of a sudden, people without any weapons whatsoever are standing there and you have machine guns gunning them down. Or they take them to prisons and then hang them and kill them.
Yep.
So they played rough, and I said if they do
I think that really, I don't think people understand how bad it is. There were just some windows into how bad it was when Assad left Syria and the Syrian government fell. You had babies in prisons because there were women who were in prison that got raped by the different guards. Like, we're talking some Batman villain Bane shit.
we're going to hit them very hard.
That's how bad it was.
Well, we're going to hit them hard. We're ready to do it. If they do that, we're going to hit them hard.
Brett, should we have a role in Iran if the regime ultimately does collapse? And if so, what should that role be?
Yeah, a lot has changed now and very different from the historical record from the 1979 revolution that brought in the theocratic dictatorship that the Iranian people are suffering under for far too long. I mean, first and foremost, it's the Iranian people's responsibility to change their government. The United States clearly has an interest in that.
Yeah.
And I think President Trump will act if U.S. interests.
That's one of the issues, I think, too, that's preventing a lot of leftists from supporting the Iranian Revolution is because the Iranian Revolution is in the best interest of the United States of America and also Israel. So it's in our best interest that Iran has a revolution and this government is deposed. But because their entire ideology is adversarial to Israel and America, they can't support something that is beneficial to those different sides. Isn't that insane? Isn't it stupid? That's what bots do, though.
An opportunity for the better, as well as to safeguard any threats from the regime. Again, the regime is making threats against the United States, and that may be a pretext for U.S. action if they want to try. If it becomes clear that the regime is actually going to try and make good on those threats. But to kind of go back to the core issue here, it's the Iranian people that I think are fed up, and I think what's also different is the economy is in free fall. The regime has been discredited because of defeat after defeat after defeat.
Like, my understanding is that Iran, like, I saw a lot of photos of Iran from, like, the 70s, right? Because the thing happened in 79, right? So majority from the 70s or before this. It was a really nice place. I don't think it's equivalent to this at all because, like, as far as I know, they weren't having, like, just a continuously... Because it's undeniable that the sanctions and the international pressure that they've put on Iran has suppressed and hurt their economy. It has. Not to mention Iran funding terrorists. But even from outside forces, Iran has been damaged from that. Are you saying Democrats support Iranian protesters being gunned down? No, I don't think that they support it, but I don't think that the optics around not supporting it is something that they're willing to stand on. Does that make sense? So, like, I think that very clearly most Democrats probably support the Iranian Revolution, but because there's a very small subset of people that are extremely radical and violent and aggressive inside of that ideology, I think that it causes a groupthink of just basically the tail wagging the dog, where none of them are talking about it really. But do I think that average Democrats support Iran gunning down protesters? Absolutely not. But I do think the extremists view it as they don't even think about the protesters. They don't think about the people. They think about Iran falling. Okay, that's more Western influence. Okay, that's in the best interest of the United States and Israel. I hate the United States and Israel. So then I want Iran to continue, on. Like that's I think the way they think about it. And then it's also, I think there's a religious component to it as well, is that this is the death of the Islamic dictatorship, theocratic government. Like maybe the majority of Iran after this might still be Muslim, but the type of Muslim and the way that it's being enforced is probably going to be totally different. I'm right wing and I don't agree with what's going on. Yeah, no doubt. But they all jumped on Palestine train, but not the Iran people. Yeah, but that's because Palestine was oppositional to Western interests from their mind.
Feet in the last year in its war through its proxies against Israel.
All Muslim countries are Islamically governed, Zach. Again, I mean, are we really going to compare Turkey with Saudi Arabia, with Qatar, and then say it's the same as Iran? I mean, like, we have to admit that there's a spectrum. Like, Islam is not a monolith.
Also, with the severe strikes against its nuclear weapons enterprise by the United States, it's pretty clear confidence in this regime is very low on all fronts. And perhaps this might be the match that will light a fire that will finally get rid of this regime.
And speaking of the economy, there are reports that China could buy Iranian crude to make up for lost Venezuelan supply. That is,
I think that if we help Iran transition, I think that we should make sure that China still is able to buy oil from Iran. I do. I think that we should be able to do that because, again, like China is a big trading partner with us. And at this point, we've now taken out two of their main, oil suppliers. I think that we absolutely should keep selling to them for sure. But like, I mean, not we doing it, but like, help Iran do it if we need to. Because it will also, because here's the reason too, keep this in mind, is that by doing that, you enrich the Iranian people. Because we want to make sure revolutions happen when shit's awful, right? Like you look at the Nazi revolution, you look at the Iranian revolution. Most revolutions happen, I was thinking most, first Iranian revolution, maybe not as much, but like overall, revolutions generally happen when economies are terrible and the people are hurting. So what my point is that in order to make sure that Iran is effectively revolution-proof, especially inside of the window of them recalibrating what their government and their society is going to be, you have to make sure that they have that safety net socially. And the way you do that is making sure that previous trade agreements are continued to make sure that these people don't just lose out on even more money. They don't lose out on even more opportunity. You see what I'm saying? You have to leave them with a foothold? Yeah, of course.
Obviously no longer guaranteed. Could an unintended consequence of U.S. intervention in Venezuela
Simple answers to
be bringing
embargoes?
these two adversaries of ours, China and Iran, closer together?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think they are already fairly close. Iran relies on the Chinese so much so that they give the Chinese a pretty hefty discount on the oil that they sell to China.
Yeah.
They are the largest exporter to China.
They want cheap oil, not regular price oil. Then do a five-year plan, right? I mean, there's like 50 ways to do it. Like, there's a lot of times where, like, if you're changing the price for something, be like, okay, you're not going to have to pay like full price right now, but you will after 3 years, right, or 5 years, or something like that. That way, it doesn't just suddenly fucking fuck up their economy, but at the same time, you're moving towards that. So there's a clean transition
of petroleum, of crude oil. So the Chinese are also benefiting from this relationship. And it probably also goes into military equipment as well. And they clearly...
And you think about it, right? Indirectly, China is benefiting from that sanction because China isn't respecting it. They're not, honoring it. And so they're doing it, and now they're able to buy it on the cheap.
BRICS organization.
Why do we care about their economy? Because we don't want to have... The reason why is that bad economies generate terrorist regimes, radicalism, and violence. That's the reason why. And Iran is really close to a lot of our other allies in the Middle East, obviously. And why do we want to destabilize a country? There's no reason to do that. Yeah, you're avoiding a power vacuum. Yeah, it's just common sense.
And also coordinate on the diplomatic stage as well. So I'd say it's not a change. If anything else, the greater dependence on Iran for oil by Beijing makes it much more, I guess, less resilient of an energy market for the Chinese and makes them more vulnerable. So overall, it gives the United States even more leverage.
Very good news for us.
Interesting point. Former Navy Captain, Pentagon official Brent Sadler, thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. It's Iranian. It's funny that we were to puppet the UK and the US before the revolution. Now China and Russia, and now probably back to the US. At least the economy will thrive. Yeah, and like that's always one of the it's one of the kind of what's it like silver linings. I guess not really silver lining. I mean, I guess what you're saying is a silver lining. It's kind of like the thing. It's like, okay, well, you are going to get freedom, but now you're going to have the influence of this other country. I think that you're right about that. And obviously, it's like kind of unfair in a lot of ways, but I think it's accurate, definitely. I'm Cuban. All that's happening is a big W for us. Fuck the white idiots that don't know what's going on in our country. Trump 2028. Yeah, I mean, listen, man, I hope that Cuba is able to have a revolution too. Like, my understanding is that a lot of Cuba's economy was based off of Venezuela. So if they're not able to continue that, then things are going to change. This is what I saw earlier, but I don't know a lot about that. Don't quote me on that, but that's just what I've read. Anyway, protesters gather outside of the BBC over lack of coverage on Iran protests. This is awesome. Ayatollah BBC, shame on you, shame on Man, that's a lot of people. And also, look at this protest. Everybody is totally orderly. There are primarily Iranian flags, some with Israeli flags. There's a lot of Israelis that... Israel and Iran used to have a pretty close relationship before this, and so, you know, that's the reason why. An American flag there. And so, yeah, this is it. And they have the classic flag, too. Yeah, nobody's causing problems. Nobody's violating the law. Nobody's smashing cars. Nobody's standing in the road. These are people that actually, you know, imagine this. They're actually out there to protest, to make a difference, and to try to raise awareness for something, not just to absolve them from their latent white guilt that they've learned in fucking high school, right? They get arrested if they wave the UK flag, though? That's funny. Yeah, you're kind of right. Iranian anti-regime protesters practically taking over Iran's second city. Holy fuck. This is second largest. Sorry about that. And look at that, exactly the attention they wanted. Yeah. Look at all this. This is in Iran. This doesn't show death. Watch off stream first. Okay. Holy shit. Wait, did the Iranians post after the shutoff of the internet? Well, you have people that are more tech savvy that are able to, you know, get a leg in here and there. And so they're able to kind of take advantage of it. But for the most part, yeah, it's been hard for a lot of them to have internet. Starlink? My understanding is that there were radio jammers, so Starlink wasn't functional. And they also didn't have the tools, the hardware for Starlink, but I could be wrong. My brother's in the city right now. It's actually his birthday. I've lost connection with him since yesterday. Yeah, say happy birthday to him from here. Well, there you go. Anonymous has vowed to get Iran online again. I wonder if they can even do that without the hardware. I don't know. You need the disc to use Starlink? Yeah, I thought so too. You sure this isn't Minnesota? No, people are well behaved. No, if it was Minnesota, they'd be setting the cars on fire. They're smuggling some into Iran? Yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. And security forces are nowhere to be seen. Know the regime is fucked. Yeah, exactly. There are ways to communicate with people in Iran. Yeah, I know somebody else that, like, I was talking to them, and I was like, I remember I was telling the other day about how, like, you know, that one like suicide plane guy flew into the IRS building, and my dad was working at that IRS building at the time, and you know, I remember I called him and I didn't get an answer, and I was like, oh, you know, I'm freaking out, right? I'm the kind of person that freaks out, and so I'm a warrior in games and I'm a warrior in real life, and so my point is that, you know, I was freaking out about it. And so, like, I can only imagine what it's like for them. I mean, the odds are it's, you know, things are fine. It's just the internet's turned off. But, like, it's the not knowing is, you know, it's very unsettling. Even if the Ayatollah escapes, he won't live long. He's in his late 80s. It doesn't matter. Like, I mean, I hope he doesn't escape. But, even if he does, it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, it's over anyway. Like, I mean, them killing the Ayatollah or something is totally symbolic. Iranian protesters set fire to the Al Rasul Mosque in Tehran. Holy shit. Damn. They burned the motherfucker down. Holy shit. Man, I wish you know, what's this here? And yeah, two non-haters' opinions. It's beautiful. Yeah, that's great. And I mean, again, the thing is with these mosques. I mean, I don't think that these people probably have a problem with, like, you know, different what do you call it? Different Muslims being in the country. But I think that the reason why they're burning them is because these mosques represent these are like the citadels of oppression in the area. Because they view them as, like, basically probably like a state-mandated religion. It's symbolic. Yeah, it's symbolic. Exactly. That's a good way to say it. And let's see if I've got any more of these that are worth looking at, because there's just been so much of this going on. And this is, again, I did see this, but, you know, I tried it out myself. X to replace the Iranian flag emoji. So now you can use that inside of there. And there's that, too. I'm not going to look at Iranian protesters brought down the Islamic regime symbol in the capital, Tehran. Man. Stupid fucking... What's that? Is it... Don't you put that in a blender? Like a mixer? Yeah. Oh, get that shit out of here. Yeah, wow. And not a surprise. Yeah, it's a cake mixer. Yeah, wow. What an amazing thing. Khomeini has issued orders for further killings and intensified the crackdown. Oh, keep this in mind, too. Look at this. So this is the one that somebody linked to me. Iran protests. Image of plainclothes individual instructing agents on which protester to shoot for identification. Jesus. Isn't that crazy? A fat rat. Yep, a fat rat. Absolutely.
صد آشغال آتیش میزنه برای که او خوشش بیاد.
Look at that.
همه بدونن جمهوری اسلامی با خون
soon to be Ret Bozo. Soon to be.
انسان شریف روی کار آمده.
Very soon.
در مقابل کسانی که
Old fart. Yeah. Are they shooting the protesters? It would seem as though they are. Yep. And if you don't go along with that, you die. Islamic regime security forces tried arresting a group of protesters in Mashhad. The police car was quickly rammed, broken into, and the prisoners were freed by a massive crowd. And then they spray painted "Long Live the Shah" on the police car. It's so over. It is so over. Totally fucking cooked. BBC Persian released footage of a hospital. I'm obviously not going to watch this one, right? 20 injured people with many with gunshot wounds to the head and neck. Oh my God. Holy shit. An Iranian anti-regime protester throws a Molotov cocktail at the government building. Fuck him. Fuck him. There it is. Such a nice guy giving us financial advice. Don't watch that one. I won't. I obviously won't. Elderly Iranian woman screams after being hit in the face with a projectile fired by the regime's security forces. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I've been dead for 47 years. She ain't wearing that bullshit over her head either. And you've got to keep in mind, for this woman, right? She was a grown-ass woman. She was an adult whenever she was able to live the good life, and she had to spend 47 fucking years being oppressed. Yep. So you got to keep in mind, all these old people that are out there protesting, one of the reasons why is because they remember. That's a real protester? Yeah, exactly, right? Iranian anti-regime protesters have captured and set fire to the police station. It's just... Do you guys ever take a step back and think about the fact that we're able to just watch literal revolutions happen on Twitter? Isn't this incredible? I always wonder, like, would something like this have happened if Elon hadn't bought Twitter? And also, like, just the fact that, really, I mean, we would have had no idea that this was even ever happening. Yeah, I've had no clue whatsoever. Thanks for supporting the Iranians? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, as I said, it's just obviously the right thing to do. That might be a body. I don't know if I'm going to look at it. It seems like that's what it said on the title. Tehran is on fire. Jesus. World-dominant democracy as it is? Well, I think that they want the king to come back in a way, but you could say if everybody wants the king to come back, then in a way it's democratic, right? Because they all wanted him to come back. This is why they want to ban Twitter. Exactly. They want to ban Twitter because Twitter is the free speech platform. This is how the streets of Tehran look now. It's now reached revolution levels of dissent. The man is writing "Long live the Shah" on the wall. God damn, look at everybody. Kingdom Come Deliverance 3 Iran. Yeah, I guess so. And anti-regime protesters built barricades completely blocking traffic on a major highway. Holy fuck. Oh my God. This is what I wish would happen for North Korea one day. Yeah, me too, but I think that if it doesn't come from the people in North Korea, you could, like, let's say we take out Kim Jong-un. I think that there's a huge possibility that somebody else replaces them, and it even further radicalizes them. So I think the best way to approach something like North Korea is to just approach it with information, right? That's it. His sister? Yeah, apparently his sister's worse than he is. That's what I hear about. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what people say. Iran anti-regime protesters burned down the City Hall building? Holy fuck. China won't allow it? I mean... So what? Just do it. What are they gonna do? So, yeah, breaking regime security forces have practically lost control of Iran's capital city, Tehran, the second largest city, Mashhad, and the fifth largest city, Shiraz. Holy fuck, man. Our once elite world-class education system has fallen to Islamists. So true. They're out there literally support... Isn't it insane that inside of Iran, they're pushing away an Islamic government, and inside of New York, they're doing protests to support Hamas? What the fuck happened? Really? Isn't that insane? Think about that. It's so delusional and deranged, you would think that it's not even real. Oh my God. Yeah, what a weird world. I know, I hate it. It's so stupid. So let's see if I can find a few more of these here too. But firing live rounds, I'm not going to watch that, even though it's probably just sounds. But yeah, Crown Prince Pahlavi Reza might just travel to Paris and board the Air France flight flying southeast. Holy shit, streets of Tehran are full of lion and sun flags tonight. And somebody was saying the sun is like a, it's like a very important, like is the sun kind of a, like a central, like, what's the word for it? Symbol inside of Zoroastrianism? Is that basically what they were saying? Praise the, yeah, unironically praise the sun. Yes, okay. Exactly. Yeah, it's a core symbol, I get it. They worship the fire. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's like that or not. I don't know. Man. And I do have to say, this is what feminism looks like in 2026. Not some fat woman screeching hysterically at ICE whenever they're deporting a child molester. Yep. I know. But you're not being oppressed because you can't buy, your 10 different romance books, etc. That's a quote. I'm just saying. That's it. And, yeah, bro, they got him on Pack Watch. Just fucking insane. They're actually working for women's rights. Isn't it crazy so many of those women that care so much about women's rights aren't talking about this? Isn't that just like such a huge mask-off moment for this? To me, it's unbelievable that that's even the case. It's crazy. Some footage from Iran in the late 60s. Let me see if I can pull this up. The UK sent... This is Iran?
Welcome to Iran 2026.
Man. Polo? Man. It's a nice place. It's a really nice place. Looks like Miami. Yeah. I mean, really, you look at the city. This is a really nice city, too. Do Cuba 1950 versus the 20... Is it true that Cubans still have the same cars that they had whenever we left the Cuba? And they just keep repairing them infinitely? Like the ship of Theseus? They do. Oh, my God. Yeah, polo, fucking tennis, driving around the nice cars. Man, that's insane.
Hello everyone, I am in central London and I'm outside the Iranian embassy. Why am I outside the Iranian embassy? I'm outside the Iranian embassy because innocent Iranians are being butchered and slaughtered at the hands of an Islamic regime. An Islamic regime, if you're watching this and you're British and you say, what the fuck has this got to do with us? We help.
How the fuck do you think that you got a bunch of those people coming over? The thing is that if you don't want to have a refugee crisis, yeah, obviously you shouldn't bring in a bunch of refugees, but there's another way to solve it too, is stop the places that are creating refugees from creating them.
Put that fucking Ayatollah, this scumbag, into that country.
Piece of shit.
And they've enslaved the people since 1979.
They have.
So people who are not Muslim have been enslaved by Islam, forced to wear a hijab. Women, the only real feminist movement that I've seen in my lifetime, the real one, not the
fucking based. Absolutely fucking based. Let me make sure I turn this up, okay?
Hello. And they've enslaved the people since 1979. So people who are not Muslim have been enslaved by Islam, forced to wear a hijab. Women, the only real feminist movement that I've seen in my lifetime, the real one, not this third wave bullshit, the only real feminist movement I've seen is those brave, fearless girls who take off their hijab to dance and sing and get murdered. There's been so many murders if you go back through each of these uprisings. What you're seeing now is a revolution happening in Iran. And it's a revolution happening by people who don't want to be enslaved by Islam. And
That's
right now, they need that wanker in charge of our country. I personally think we should be blowing the shit out of everything that Ayatollah holds. His military.
I see what he's. I don't think we should do that because I think it might radicalize them against us, and it would delegitimize the revolution. It would be like it would now be the revolution that was done by America or the UK. I get like inside of the moment, like obviously I would support that, but I just think it could lead to problems down the road.
Bases everything. He needs to be hit now while the people are rising up. I've just come
Wouldn't
here.
they're begging
to
for
walk
us
over,
to help?
Just
I think there's a critical mass point where I would say that, yeah, the U.S. should help, especially if they're just gunning down all the protesters. I would say, yeah, I mean, there's definitely a point at, like, the end of Helm's Deep, at the end of the Two Towers, where Gandalf is at the fucking top of the mountain, and he's there, and he charges down and kills them. Yeah, I think that there's a point for that, but you want to make sure that they're there. You do.
send my little personal thing to say, without getting run over, well, I try to anyway, is to send a message. I don't usually like burning things. Will you hold that so it's on me? You got it on me? Yeah.
He's saying facts. I left Iran in '79 with my dad when I was 4 because boys older than 7 were no longer being allowed to leave.
This scumbag justifies paedophilia. That country there, out behind Hamas, Hezbollah, they support every terrorist regime that is targeting us, the West, all of us. Yeah, they're weak and they're on their ass because Israel's fucking obliterated them since October 7th.
They haven't. You're right. Israel's totally fucking destroyed them. Like, that's our tax money at work, right, guys? And so, yeah, they have. They've totally beat the shit out of them.
So I'm here just to show my disgust and ask you...
Luigi?
I don't know if it's going to go because I have hold of this. Hey, mate. I've seen ladies doing this. Let me take I've seen women doing this just to show their disgust. That's our disgust in Great Britain. Fuck the Ayatollah, yeah? And freedom. Freedom for all those women. Yeah?
He's gonna burn his fucking hand.
Iranians. Thank you so much. And if you can, there's a demonstration happening right here.
Tommy's pissed there's a lot of extremists in the UK. Yeah, of course, right? I mean, there's a downstream effect of them funding global terror networks, is that those terror networks take root in London. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
There's people outside here every day, yeah? But come down and support them as members of the British public. Do you know the power went out? The power went out in Iran at 8 p.m. All internet, all phones. All these people who've got family in that country, it's a blackout. It's a blackout because his killing forces have gone butchering citizens, yeah? So show your support this Sunday, 3 p.m. right here. Come down here, show your support. This Sunday, 3 p.m. Here, yeah?
There's a rumor going on the president of Iran is resigned.
In front of Downing Street, yeah.
I mean,
Tomorrow
if I was him,
Sunday, I'll be there
too.
Sunday reporting for you at 10 Downing Street. Get your asses there, show some support, show your disgust at the Islamic regime, and pray that this Ayatollah and their corrupt Islamic supremacist mindset falls, and falls soon. So then you can see the parties in Venezuela that you saw the people celebrating.
True.
Wait to see the celebrations coming out of Iran.
Yeah, somebody asked in chat, they said, why Venezuela and not Iran? Number one, Venezuela is a lot closer, and it's much closer to being a domestic threat than Iran is, number one. Number two, Venezuela wasn't anywhere near a revolution in the same way that Iran is. So basically, like, all we really would have to do in Iran was to maybe do like this. But in Venezuela, we had to go capture the fucking president. And you've got to keep in mind that, their whole government is still there. And it's not like Venezuela is now this democratic Western paradise. They still have these psychos riding around in Venezuela trying to kill people who are supporters of America coming in and getting rid of Maduro, right? So it's not like everything is, like fucking roses and butterflies over there. So that's the reason why. Also, Venezuela is already in America. Well, that's what I was saying, right? Yeah, we've done enough damage over there. We don't need to take a step back and let and before we do more, let the UAE help. Yeah, exactly. Persians are tight with the center right in the UK. The lefties hate them because they're refugees on our side. What a surprise. Yeah, I would have never guessed. And let's see if there's any more of these too, because there's been a lot more. Thanks for answering my question. Yeah, I do my best, right? And I'll see if there's anything more about this that's worth looking at. But yeah, again, this is my favorite one, is the BBC. And this is only possible thanks to Elon Musk. Oh, wow. This is Zafarania. I think it says, I'm saying it, right now through Starlink. Holy shit. She posts a lot. Yeah, I know. She's pretty common, you know, a person that I watch for this stuff. It's been very consistent. Yeah, Elon Musk and SpaceX recently activated Starlink over Iran and are reportedly offering free service through early February 2026 to support connectivity during the government-imposed blackouts. It's so crazy to me that people will get mad about Elon Musk not thinking that, you know, a trans person, you know, is like the same as a biological woman, but they'll ignore the fact that he's providing, you know, internet to a country that's trying to overcome a oppressive, totalitarian, murderous government. Isn't that weird? It's like these little small fucking social identity issues take precedent over literal, you know, national empowerment of an entire group of people. Like, where's the priority list there? Brave Iranians now taking to the streets with the true flag of Iran, the lion and the sun. Man. He did it for Ukraine too? He did. Yep. Absolutely did. I like Elon. He might be a little weird, but he's a visionary. Yeah, Elon's... Listen, there's a lot of people that are really successful that are very weird. But that's the way it is. The entire local government municipality building in northern Iran, city of Karaj, is currently engulfed in flames. Well, that doesn't look good. Yeah, that doesn't look good at all. Why doesn't he do it for North Korea? Because they have such a tight, they probably have such a tight grip over, they have such a tight grip over that area that it would be too risky. And also, it could damage his relationship with maybe China, and maybe it's not worth it for him, right? And they have nukes. Well, I don't think it's really that at all, actually. I think it's the fact that, like, you need hardware in order to run Starlink, and because North Korea is a much more controlled country, it's harder for them to get that hardware in there to even use Starlink in the first place. You see what I'm saying? They probably don't have phones. They're safe from Diablo Immortal. Yeah, exactly. And so is Russia. Yeah, Russia has nukes, and they had no problem doing that with Ukraine. They have direct cell service, no hardware. Yeah, no surprise there at all. And of course, why is the BBC not... excuse me. Why is the BBC not reporting on this? It is just insane, man. And I think the reason why, as I said, it's because they're totally taken over by a bunch of weirdos. Nowhere in Tehran is silent. What is this? Weirdo activists. They love Islam. Yeah. Anything that is anti-Western, they will support. You retweeted me? Tell him thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I think he's really doing them a huge service. Make sure we don't accept Iranian refugees. I've seen a few so far I wouldn't mind accepting. To be honest. Right, I mean, that was my immigration plan. What can I say? So there's another one here. I went to Tehran, and pushed for Iran to acquire the nuclear bomb. Okay. Yeah, there it is. And it is not in Tehran. Yeah, okay, I was about to say. And where's the rest of these that are worth looking at? You want definitive proof this bitch does not live in Iran? Under a complete and total blackout for all communication except for a few Starlink users, Narj has been tweeting nonstop all day, every day. Well, she could also be a government agent. You could think about that too. So yeah, there's a now video of now this iconic smoking Persian girl. Is this it? Man. Damn. How about that? I didn't know they had a whole video for it too. Just burn his bitch ass out. Fucking got him. Let's see here if I can find this. And overall force, yeah, I totally agree with Nick. I think Nick's totally right about this. And what is this here? Calls out Islamist violence against Christians. I'll look at that probably later on. USDA is suspending all federal funding to... Oh my God. Wow. That is insane. Iranians refuse to step on the American and Israeli flags and call a supporter of the Islamic Republic dishonorable for doing so. If you're wondering why the global left is completely silent about what's happening in Iran, this is why. They know a free Iran would not only normalize relations with America and Israel, but become an ally. They never cared about human rights. The only thing they want to do is destroy America, the West, and Israel. They know that with the Islamic regime gone, and unable to finance Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, and other terrorist organizations, that goal would become extremely difficult to achieve. Abso-fucking-lutely. Totally agree with this guy. I like him. And so, yeah, definitely. It's the same thing I said earlier, right? So, I agree with myself. And I like the guy filming had to tell her no the other side. Yeah. I don't know what he says. Watch the left call the Iranian refugees Islamophobic. I mean, I'll be honest. Like, if I came from an Islamic dictatorship, I probably would be too. And this... He's such an idiot. It's almost like at this point, like, it's almost funny because of just how stupid it is. He's so stupid. Every single time. This guy always ends up on the wrong side. It's like he basically, if this guy's supporting the group, the odds are they're going to lose. That's it. People from a dictatorship respect the most powerful democracy in the world. Imagine that. Yeah, what a big surprise, huh? How about that?